Hello, everyone, and welcome to Scarredlands, A Family Affair, Episode 15, Skyflowers. So when last we met, you had all bravely fought your way through Galita's Grove to the stronghold of Oberon Amethyst, Burdock's Bane, one of the most wanted elves in all of Gelspad, where after a slight bit of consternation. Zopa handed over the whip to your new host. Now, you were set to quarters where you could rest, relax, but before you were able to make your way inside, you all saw to the northeast, as was pointed out to me. I have geographic dyslexia, I think. You saw a bunch of strange white lights in the sky. And looking at them through a spyglass, you were able to make out that it was dozens of holy symbols being shot into the air. Holy beacons, in fact. With that revelation... Oh, go ahead. What? That's your fault. I don't know what to say. She is in The Wise and the Wicked, which you can get if you back Dead Man's Rust on Kickstarter right now as an add-on. I made it this far without mentioning it, so I would like to just go ahead and say that, yes, Dead Man's Rust is now on Kickstarter. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to post it in chat in case anybody's watching over at the Onyx Path channel, too, because I got both of them open. Now what? Yes, she handed you off a place to stay. You watched in horror as an amount of holy beacons, unseen since possibly even during the Divine War, seemed to fire off in the distance up near the Hornsaw Forest. And then she bid you goodnight and took off and set you to your quarters. Not much you can do about it right now. So you have all been taken inside of this lovely camp that's been set up for you. You each have a bed. She did have someone bring a cot out for your father, for Khaled, which is set up right now on the giant bearskin rug that's out in the middle of the room. The owl bearskin rug. And you each have a bed. What would you all like to do? And feel free if you want to alter your sleeping arrangements, move your tokens around. It's fine. I just put you where there was space. But let's dive right into it. You've seen this horrible thing. You've fought your way here. You've faced down this horrible stuff. You have at least one companion who is petrified and may not be salvageable, and a couple of new dragons that you're not quite sure what to do with. So as you're bedding down for the night, anything you'd like to do before you take a long rest? Where would you like to go to have this private conversation? We have a very detailed map here that you should move your token on. As far as you know, no. Once Amethyst sent you off, she took off as well, as did the other elves that were up top. So No, there's a door on the south. Okay. So you're stepping outside. Love it. And where did you wander to? You've disappeared from my view. Oh, you wandered far off. That's why. Okay, yeah. I mean, they're 5 foot squares. So, go ahead and give me a perception check if you don't mind while you're out there. Right, yeah. No, you don't notice anything, and you absolutely managed to make your call. I would assume, well, I mean, were you trying to, like, sneak out, Zopa, or were you just kind of meandering out? Well, that's fine. How do you do? Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have my Twitch chat open because I'm a derfus.
Hey, how about now? Are we good now? Go ahead and talk.
How about now?
They missed all our banter. I'm so disappointed.
I'm very sad.
They heard Travis's answer to the banter.
True.
Thanks for the heads up.
That fixed it.
Yes. So before we get too much further, I believe so because now I'm getting levels. There was an operator error. There was an ID10T error at the keyboard. So sorry about that. So what would you like to do? Are you going to try to like actually sneak out, or are you going to try to just sort of meander out? Zopa.
Me or somebody else?
Zopa.
She just walks out.
So yeah.
As far as she is concerned, we were invited here, so she doesn't know of any reason not to.
All right. So
you're
yeah,
just like, I need some space for a minute. Stomp.
You're absolutely all aware of that. You can certainly react accordingly.
I know a little bit of, I don't know about the Sending Stone or the invisible stuff, but I know that she's been involved with the Scale because I've been kind of trying to get involved too. So I want to follow you and find out what's going on. Because it's like, why is she sneaking off?
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Not like... Zopa doesn't like hide it from the family, but she doesn't really talk about it either. And when she's like making calls, she's very self-conscious about the fact that she's part of this thing that took her away from the family for a few years. And so it feels weird to hear.
No, it's all good. Go ahead and make a stealth check if you're trying to be sneaky, Chris. Otherwise, just walk up behind her, I suppose. That's an option.
I'm trying to be like sneaky because I don't want to cause a fuss. But like with our hosts,
nice.
But I'm not necessarily trying to hide from Zopa.
You succeed at hiding from Zopa pretty well.
Yeah,
that was just blind luck on my part.
So yeah, you can absolutely kind of creep up and.
Is that on the right or the left?
It's the right. It's way
oh my
over
god!
there.
How far did you go?
I have these really long legs. I just go miles.
Hiding in the tree.
Yeah, you sneak up and you hear, please, once again, now that we have audio, go ahead and tell us what it was you were saying.
Yeah, so into the Sending Stone that reports back to my contact at the Scaled, I say, the whip has been delivered to my father's friend. I gave it up willingly, and that's the end of that. It has caused too many problems for my family, and I am yours to reprimand. How's that?
Sure. There's a beat of silence, probably longer than you would have expected, and to still get a response. Like, you might even be like turning to go back in. Like, I guess they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
When you hear message received and understood, be cautioned. We have received intelligence that powerful agents of Chardoon are seeking that thing.
I'll nod at first, as though she can hear me nod. Oh, of course.
That's what one does.
I will warn. I can never remember her name. My father's friend. What is her name, Travis?
Amethyst.
I need my notes. I'm sorry, what?
Amethyst.
Amethyst, thank you.
So they say beyond that we will discuss things when you return to a safe region of civilization.
Do you feel like these agents are nearby in Galita's Grove?
You hear the word agents, and I'm just looking around like, agents? Because I'm only hearing your end of the conversation.
If what our intelligence has indicated is accurate, there is but one on their way.
I'm going to pocket the sending stone and go find Amethyst.
Okay.
I'll lean against the tree, thinking about where I saw her go.
I was like, so what are we going to do?
Standing right next. Oh my God! Where did you come from?
So it's like, there's agents? What kind of agents? What now? What's happening now?
More Chardoony. I don't know how they know we're here, but apparently they've sent someone to get the whip. I just want to warn Amethyst before we go to sleep.
Just tell me what I got to do to prepare. I'll keep training the dragons.
I mean, I have no idea. If you can get the dragon to attack them, that'd be great. But they are its former masters, so I don't know how you're going to do that.
Oh, it's those guys again?
I think so, right? Maybe not.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of people.
She's making some like wild assumptions here.
Right. There are a lot of people who serve Chardoon. It's not just the Calastians. There are a lot of things that aren't people that serve Chardoon.
Thanks, Travis. I mean, it's such sweet dreams now.
I don't want to be, tracked down by a devil.
Right.
Particularly. No.
Where did Amethyst head off to when she told us goodnight?
Very difficult to say. You kind of saw her and then you didn't. She did that whole hey, I'm a ganja self. You don't see me in the woods if I don't want you to. And just kind of stepped behind a tree and disappeared.
I'll head back towards. Oh man, I just disappeared. How did that happen?
What did you
go
do,
through a wall?
Ray?
Sometimes it happens if you go through.
No, I went to move my character and just gone. There we go.
There you are.
That was weird. Just kind of walking back, and I'll walk through here and be like, Amethyst. Amethyst.
Walk through. I lost you.
Here, Amethyst.
Nothing.
And if she doesn't come out, I'm going to go in and ask. Wrong button. Where? Us, Dad.
Yeah, I didn't shut the door.
If he knows how to get a hold of her.
Assuming he's not with her right now.
No, he's in the cot up by the fire.
Is she in the cot up by the fire too?
She is not in the cot up by the fire.
Okay, just checking.
He's not that bad of a dad.
It could be snuggling.
You're not a real mom.
Just even more squicked out at the thought that Verdux Bane has a thing for our dad. Like putting those two and two together.
Apparently he's an amazing lover or something, because
he's attentive.
Not thinking about that. That's just not going to
which
think
he
about
left
that.
at home. So
he's
to be
attentive
fair,
and he has a good sense of humor. So he says,
I'm going to tell him.
I would assume she's at her wherever she sleeps. Why?
So I made
meditates.
You know my contacts in the Scaled. I made my report, and she said there are Charduni worshippers, not dwarves, but Chardun worshippers coming for the whip. I just want to warn her ahead of time. They know. They know. They look around conspiratorially.
How do they know?
We haven't exactly been stealthy about our travel, have we? So they might know that way.
Didn't we kill everybody that was I mean, not to sound like a bunch of murder hobos, but
didn't we murder everybody?
Right. I'm just saying. I just want to let her know so she's not caught unaware. She's your friend, so. And there's like an extra emphasis on friend. She's your friend after all.
He says, just go to sleep and we'll talk to her in the morning. I'm sure everything will be fine.
Famous last words. All right. And I'll look around for a place to bed down. But before I do, I'm going to go tell the other siblings, just be prepared in case anyone attacks us in the middle of the night. Maybe this place isn't as safe as we thought.
Nothing's ever as safe as we thought.
There's elves
as I am learning,
right? Because they don't need as much sleep as we do. You'd think they'd wake us up.
If you guys want to set a watch, I'll take first.
I think the elves will be doing that. I'll just check to see if the elves are doing that, because I don't know about you guys, but I could use a real sleep for once. I feel like I haven't gotten a good night's sleep since they opened the freaking cellar door.
Well, all you guys are saying this about sleeping and stuff. I'm like visibly not happy with the bed. I'm gonna just kind of ignore what everybody's doing because I'm still kind of like coming to terms with what happened to Sir Sasha. So I'm going to go outside and look for what would pass as a stable, since that's what I'm used to sleeping in, something familiar in the midst of everything that's unfamiliar, and just try and find that wherever the animals are at to like go to bed.
That's fair. You step outside and don't see any immediate
animal keeping structure.
Yeah, anything that looks immediately like it might be where animals would be.
Where are the dragons?
The dragons were stabled several far below where you're at right now. If you recall, they dropped them off basically on the way to where you were at. Because you walked up several hills, several very woody sort of hills to get there.
I mean, worst case scenario, there's nothing there. I'm definitely sleeping outside, even if it's like under a tree. You know what I mean?
I managed a 22 insight check, so I noticed that Gix was fidgety and figured out what was going on, and I come outside and I'm like, come on. Let's find some place for you to tuck in that's a little bit more comfortable and a little closer to the family. I get it.
Something on the screen.
I don't want a bed. They're too soft.
I know. Okay. Let's see. Maybe up in the crook of this branch. How about that?
Yeah.
Kind of tuck back in
anywhere
there.
But the bed.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I never stand up right after a bed.
I gotcha. Well, let me go get you the blanket anyway. Okay? Is that fair compromise?
That's all you get.
I go get a blanket.
As the two of you are talking, you start to hear a growl. A horrifying growl. And that growl as you look in the direction of it, you see a pair of glowing red eyes that look like they're probably 10 feet off the ground. Where did you kids park?
I guess we would be right outside the door.
Yeah, someplace.
I didn't actually move my character, so I'll say I'm right
you
by.
there.
Okay. Yeah, and me.
I just moved myself outside by like that well.
Yeah.
So you see a pair of red eyes at about 10 feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
As a jet black, one might say Obsidian Hound steps into you.
It's just going to be great.
I would like you to make a history check for me, please, Jedryn.
Okay, this should be hilarious. Might actually not suck.
I was going to say, not as bad as mine.
You've heard tales of this dog. This is Garabund, the Obsidian Hound, originally created by one of the Titans, but pressed into service after the Titans War by Chardin. It said that once it starts hunting someone, it will not relent. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't feel pity. It will just pursue its quarry endlessly.
Well, I don't know whether we've worked out any better signals. If we have, I use some sort of a subtle, like, bird whistle signal, but if not, guys, incoming!
I feel like that's it. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Do we all hear that?
Oh, yeah. So
I look at Dad and I'm like, I told you!
At this point...
They're pulling out the cards like, God, I never get a chance to play cards.
We will go ahead and roll our initiatives.
Motherfucker.
I was already pretty nervous.
So we haven't rested yet, right?
You may enjoy the benefits of a long rest. Why not?
I was going to
Thinking short rest. But yeah.
You said short rest or long rest?
Long rest.
Oh, my. Well, that means this is going to be very bad then. Especially if Astral doesn't want to work.
Yeah. There's that.
Is Astral giving somebody a hard time?
Yeah, it's not rolling. If I send 3 initiative rolls, it's because I didn't close and open it.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Alright, let me refresh just in case. Oh yeah, it booted me all the way out. Okay. 1 second.
Sure.
I think I can still send... Oh, no, because it's not. Alright, we're back.
Welcome back.
And send. There we go. What, first try.
Nice.
Beautiful. You have the first initiative as this creature is closing in on you.
So I don't know anything about this thing, I assume.
That is correct.
It's huge.
Is it pissed at me?
It's growling and drooling and looking the two of you over, but it seems to be continuing its trek straight towards the door.
I cannot think we know who it's here for.
It's like 15 feet long, right? It's literally.
Yes, it's literally a huge beast. It's 10 foot. Well, it's about 8.5 feet at the shoulder.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, if it's not getting me right this second, I don't know what it is, and it's twice my size, I am not going to do anything. But I will hold an action to attack it if it attacks Jedryn.
Okay. Excellent. You're holding. That brings us to the Hound. The Hound is going to sniff the air and dash into the... I need my music stand. And dash into the tree. So you all hear as this giant thing comes barreling, like it breaks, it like chips off some of the wood in the hole in the tree as it comes by to get inside.
Holy shit.
That brings us to Cheshire. What would you like to do?
He will put down his cards, very sad, pick up his sword, not his armor, because we don't have time for that kind of stuff. I guess, yeah, I have to dash in front of it.
Excellent. Is that your whole action?
Considering this thing is like 8 feet at the shoulder, we're just going to go ahead and blow Action Surge early and dodge, because with my 11 AC, yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Action Surge is gone. You're ready to duck. Triss.
Can I roll a history to guess to see if I know
absolutely.
what this thing is?
DC is 15.
Oh, I have no fucking clue. But it's big enough that I'm terrified.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's a...
Okay. I'm like, elves, where are the elves? Can we help you? It's an animal. 30. So I'm going to try to use my animal speaking ability to be like, hi, we're friends, friendly, we don't want to hurt you. I attempt that.
It turns its undivided attention towards you.
Oh, shit.
Millie, what would you like to do?
Yeah, can I also do the history thing?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. DC 15.
Oh. Big scary doggo. I'm going to run away.
Okay.
So, here-ish. And I will hold my action.
Okay.
Going to hold an arrow shot, and if it attacks any of my siblings, that will trigger it.
It brings us to Khaled. Khaled looks at Zopa and says, don't move. And takes the dodge action. Zopa.
I'm going to scream at Cheshire to get out of the way, and I'm going to reach for the whip, which isn't there. And she has a moment, like it's visible on her face that she's just like,
oh. Blood drains from their face.
And she's going to try and remember what else she carries on her person. Oh, what is this little pointy thing? She has a dagger, and she'll pull out the dagger and dodge.
All right. Korggix, this is your action. What would you like to do?
I guess I can see inside that door, and it's just barking and freaking out.
Yeah.
It seems totally disinterested in me now at this point, so I'm gonna move up to the door, I guess, or to peer in around the corner, and then just hold an action to, if it attacks again one of my siblings, I will. Can't do any of this stuff without touching. So I will just use my screwed up True Strike on whoever it attacks.
That brings us to the Hound. The Hound is going to move forward. Is Cheshire holding their ground?
Yep.
It takes like 2 steps toward you, and when you don't back down, it like lunges basically. That triggers Korggix's True Strike, and it uses a multi-attack.
Yay. Oh my.
So I'm still dodging, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
25? Yeah.
No, it's the disadvantage, but with a plus 13, and I have no armor.
Oh, is it the disadvantage? So the first one's
Right.
15, which hits. The second one...
Like, even with the disadvantage, it is impossible for it to roll below my AC without
I see what you're saying.
chainmail on.
You can roll a 1.
You can roll a 1, basically.
It doesn't.
And trip over its own tongue.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you resistant to slashing or piercing damage?
Nope.
You're gonna die.
Those are fucking 3-5 levels of attacks there. This is not fair. You haven't updated this monster to 5e.
59 what?
Take 59 hit points worth of damage.
Does that? Yeah, I'm gone.
The Hound jumps up and just bites Cheshire and comes up, like swinging Cheshire's body to the left, swipes with its claws, and you see Cheshire's legs come off. And then it swipes again with its claws, and you see Cheshire's torso land across the room. It spits its head out and uses the rest of its movement.
I can't stabilize that.
Don't worry. True strike when it's your turn.
Zopa's just screaming. She doesn't really realize she's screaming, but she's screaming.
Travis, you understand how CR works, right?
I am aware of the mathematics of this combat.
I really wish I could be running right now. I only true striked.
And I feel like Jeremy's
still have your
thinking
30.
that
You can
Travis
still
is
move.
just mad that
No,
Chaz killed him on the
Right, this is fucking payback. That's what you get.
That triggered my held action, right?
Yes, that does trigger your held action. Go ahead and make your attack check, please.
I'm scared to attack it now, but okay.
You say what?
Okay, so I'm going to do the thing. The 17 hit?
17 absolutely does not hit. It does. You get him square in the jaw, and the arrow bounces off as if he doesn't notice that you've shot him.
Even if it's force damage?
Even if it's force damage.
Fuck.
Jesus.
You didn't breach his armor class.
Neat. Okay, that's my held action.
Excellent. Cheshire, you don't get death saves, right? You're just fucking dead?
Oh, no, I am like straight out.
Right, okay, cool. Sorry.
Oh, was that more?
Oh, wait, 56. How much was it?
56. 59.
I think you.
It is 1 over twice my max. Yeah,
Jesus.
I'm very sorry. We'll get back to you in a few minutes. That brings us to Triss. What would you like to do?
Hide?
Or no, I'm sorry. That brings us to Jedryn. Brings us to Jedryn. I almost skipped Jedryn.
Jedryn.
Hide? Oh my god.
Jesus. I'm trying to figure out exactly how rational Jedryn would be at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. Well, Dad's trained the crap out of me, so... Zopa, it's after you! It's Chardon's Hound! 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. and I've got my bow up, but my hands are shaking, and I'm kind of aware that I don't really have much I can do in this situation. But if anybody else gets carnaged, the bow definitely goes off, and if it's my time, it's my time.
That's fair. Yes.
Dude, there's no way I could heal Cheshire.
No, you would need if you had a revivify and can get to all of his pieces.
Yeah, I don't, because I'm too low level. It's a higher level spell. I would summon my spirit totem, but I don't know if it's gonna do any good.
With shut.
Yeah. So I guess I'll summon the bear, which gives everybody 8 temporary hit points. That's a bonus action, so I'm going to run behind the bookshelf in terror.
Excellent.
Because I'm going to go over here.
You run behind the bookshelf in terror. Millie, what is your action?
But my spirit totem is like in the middle of the room.
I scream no, and I crawl under the chair and table and dash to Cheshire.
Okay.
And I try to gather up his pieces, and I'm just crying, no, 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 no. Please get up, please get up, please get up. And even though I know he's dead, I still try and cast Cure Wounds.
Right, you pull like the chunks together, and you cast, and you feel the magic course out of you, and just, there's nothing for it to catch on.
And there's the difference in our alignments, right there.
And Khaled looks over at you and says, I'm sorry I got you into this. And takes the dodge action. Zopa, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Not sure she really even hears him. She's just screeching. Is it huge or large?
It is huge.
Okay. Then getting to here, I should be able to hit it, yeah?
Yes.
All right, so she just like bolts forward, and she pulls out her war fan as well, and she's going to make a dagger and an offhand attack also. 14 misses, I assume?
You get purchase with both attacks. They just bounce harmlessly off of its musculature. It's like hitting a fucking Rottweiler with a spaghetti noodle.
But at least the Rottweiler would be like, spaghetti, and stop and be like, give that to me. This one's just going to be like, I want your innards. That's it.
As a legendary action, after you hit it, it's going to bite you.
Legendary.
16 get you?
That'll hit.
$17 damage.
Okay.
So you come up with the war fan, come around with the dagger, and it reaches down and just, you see like up to the elbow your arm disappear down its throat. Korggix, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Is there any way for me to check if this is like a dream and or illusion / vision?
Make a wisdom
in older
saving
editions,
throw.
it would be disbelieve. I disbelieve the fuck out of this.
A wisdom saving throw, you said?
Yep.
This should be bad. 13. That's probably not good enough.
No, this is real.
Okay. Well,
that smells entirely like too much like blood and innards.
Korggix is not quite sure what to do with himself. He knows his own limitations, and after seeing Cheshire, who he's palled around with for as long as he can really choose to remember, just get eviscerated. He's more just defeated. Like, he hoped that after getting out of the capital and all the, like, this just death and mistreatment of people would just stop. So he kind of just walks in a daze with no real plan and does nothing, but is like completely disconnected from reality, like full on trauma, like
straight up shock. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Yeah. That brings us to the Hound. The Hound unleashes a multi-attack routine on Zopa. Will any of those not hit?
No.
I believe 16 was the magic number, so
15. 15 is the magic 15. Number. Yeah. But something might have changed in the last split second. You never know.
You suffer 50 points.
Only 50?
Only 50.
You see the Hound come away from Zopa and like drop the forearm on the ground, and then just pounce and start shredding Zopa's innards, just pulling them out, just digging, snout in the guts, intestines flopping to both sides, blood flying everywhere. Your father silently weeping at the top of the room. And you all wake up.
Oh shit.
I was like, either I'm going to be Vord here in a second, or
okay.
I was very close to like full Private Ryan scene on the beach where I was like picking up my siblings' body parts.
I was gonna run and find the chick with the whip and be like, "You're the only thing that can," and I'd be too late.
Yeah.
Much. So. You all shoot up, awake, fully fine, but all of you remember that incident.
Where are we?
So when I wake up, I'll just shoot a glance at... I assume we're in the same spots for when we fell asleep. We didn't actually move.
Yeah, you're all in bed, actually.
Was the send the message thing?
So basically the door gets hurled open as Korggix runs in and is like, "It was a dream!"
Right.
Yeah.
And we all jump fucking again.
I'm just grabbing Cheshire and like making sure that they're not like apart.
Yep, you all have completed a long rest, get everything back. This was a nightmare.
A shared nightmare, apparently.
You recall, however, though, it was Jedryn who made the roll, right? You recall,
the history roll?
Yes.
Yeah.
You recall that when someone is marked by Chardoon as a target for this creature, they will be tormented, often for weeks, sometimes months, with nightmarish visions of its eventual visitation.
Yeah.
Bedroom.
So, fun piece of lore. And I drop that out, and I'm like, I don't know. There may be a better way that this ends, but this is...
Who had I had the dream. Who else had the dream?
We all had the dream, and that could mean we're all targeted, or it could just mean it's Zopa. But...
Dad, did you have the dream too?
He just gets up and runs over and like hugs Zopa and says, "Are you all right?" And he's like touching you and shit.
Yeah. Zopa's sitting on Cheshire's bed, just holding him. Whether he tries to get away or not, I feel like it's one of those like cartoon moments where she's just like headlocking him, like petting him. No.
we got to get that whip back because that's the only thing we have. That's the only thing we could possibly use to defend ourselves against that.
Well, maybe that's why we're marked in the first place. So once it figures out who has the whip, it's not going to care about us anymore.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Jedryn. what is it? It's just a dog that's sent by...
It's a mythic creature created by one of the Titans, and the amount of difficult it was to fight off is probably about the amount of difficult it will be to fight off in reality.
When you say created by one of the Titans, my eyes kind of glass over, and I'm like, do you know which Titan?
I don't remember. Did I actually know?
Yeah, you would have known. It would be...
Feels like Hrinruk, but...
Yeah, it seems like Hrinruk.
Oddly enough. I have one on the tip of my tongue that I'm 99% sure is wrong.
It's Gorak.
There's no way it's Gorak.
Sarah rolls Scarredlands lore.
It wouldn't be Gorak, it'd be Hinrik. Hinrik's a hunter.
I know, it feels like it should be Hinrik.
No, it did serve Gorak.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
feels like it should be Hinrik.
Because it's perpetually hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just my eyes went from glassy to relief and then worry and then they glass over again. And nobody in the family, I never openly shared it, but I am 100% a worshiper of Gowrock. I am a Titan worshiper.
Shouldn't be,
and
but
Gowrock is the one that I worship. So now I'm super conflicted because I don't understand. I have the Titanic corruption. My powers that I don't even understand come from this. I literally have his teeth growing out of my face, and now his mutt is after us.
Well, it's not his mutt. And your dad says that thing is on Chardoon's leash now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, now the light bulb goes off. Well, then we need to get it off the leash. For multiple reasons.
Oh.
I don't know that it's that simple. Chardoon's entire domain is about binding things into service. We can't just...
Mm-hmm.
Right, but isn't he also... he's also against... insanely over-the-top violence.
But at least
so there has to be a reason that he's seeking to punish us for this. Because I thought at least, at the very least, he was fair. That's the whole reason that those slaves were done up by those priests of Tardoon. Isn't that the whole thing? Is that, corporal punishment is how he teaches you, but at the end of the day, he's just as likely to punish a slave as the slave owner.
Maybe, why don't you all go ahead and make a wisdom check for me? I'm looking for, let's say 14s or better. Insight. You make an insight check. We'll do an insight check against a god. But we'll look for 14s or better.
I hit an 18.
Thank God.
Tardoon keeping this contained, though, keeps it from running around the countryside willy-nilly, being a mini Gorak, eating everybody, though. So, I think this thing being free is bad. Not to say that we want Gorak's hound on us, or Chardoon's hound on us, but if Chardoon's not controlling it, no one's controlling it, and it's going to be wild. And I rolled a 23, but that's what I'd say anyway.
Well, those insight checks wouldn't really necessarily have anything to do with that, per se.
Okay.
The real meat of that, and you all made your check, so it's very clear to you and doesn't really require a whole lot of leap of logic to come to the conclusion that if Chardoon is aware of what's going on with that item, is connected enough to know, to be able to hear what's going on around it, at the end of the day, as far as any of you know, his fucking favorite servant is sitting on the throne in Calastia right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, quick way to end.
So I'm going to release Cheshire, just straighten your hair and then wipe my tears away. So if that's the case, then it's really not safe for Amethyst to have it if this is what she plans to do with it. But, Jedryn, you know about this hound?
A little bit.
While I have nothing against getting the whip back, especially if it's going to save these rebels, what good is it going to do, this whip of Chardoon against this hound that is... Will Chardoon be able to protect the hound? Is it going to just stop working? I don't want to rely on it. I just don't.
Like the whip won't work on the hound because they're both belong to Chardoon?
I honestly don't know. I mean... I
don't want to rely on it being my ticket to not being
we're
eaten.
Screwed without the whip because it's coming for us even though we don't have the whip. And we're probably screwed with the whip.
Who's the one other person that the hound might listen to?
I'm going to point something out.
That can get past the big artifact. It might be, we might have to go and try and find Gowrock. And this isn't, I mean, like, I don't know how that works or how it would happen, but would that be enough to break the bond?
Gowrock was defeated. I mean, they were
but he's not dead.
No, but there's pieces of him all over the place where,
what do we go to Fang's Fall and worship at his giant tooth mountain? I mean,
okay.
Scratching mine. I'm like, I mean,
do you know where he is? Because I don't know where he is.
That might be one. We get it. We get the dog to follow us because it's on us. And I mean, there's a bit of selfishness in this. Sure. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I would love to go there and figure out what the fuck is going on with me. But I don't feel like putting other people in jeopardy is really what we set out to do, is it?
What do you got, Jedryn?
We got two obvious ways out of the. Well, we got two obvious paths out of this, I should say. One, dog shows up. We tell it exactly what it wants to know. We point it towards Amethyst, and we stay the fuck out of its way. Two, we run as far the fuck away as we possibly can. We pray to any god or goddess but Chardoon, and when it kills us, we hope that they take our souls into their afterlives before he can get his claws into us and pry the information out of us. And there's probably a 3, but I'm still working on that one because it's a lot more complicated.
I don't know if I have that option.
Khaled says, Millie, you got anything?
Millie, you want to join us over here on the other side of the room?
Okay. Millie kind of slowly walks over, all mopey.
He gets up
hold your hand if you
and meets you and says, "Are you okay? Hello."
I'm fine. You said that we're going to keep having those nightmares?
So the hound finds us, or Chardoon calls it off.
Well, I guess that gives us time to practice.
She's not wrong.
Zopa gets over and goes over and hugs Millie, and she's like, I knew I liked you for a reason.
I hug Zopa back, and I'm trying really hard to hide the part where I'm crying.
Practice what?
He says, okay, so for now, plan is outrun the hound. You said we could have weeks, months, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Wait, what's the first fire we got to put out?
Gotta warn
The only
Amethyst.
problem is that Dad still has a bit of horn saw business here, so we can't.
Well, honestly, we can't really. On the bright side, it means that we're any danger we face is going to pretty much be less than the hound, and that includes even the friggin' hornsaw forest.
Really? It's that scary?
Did you see?
I don't know, but the hornsaw is like nightmarish and like
Zopa shudders.
hags and snakes and poisons and plants that kill you and like that's worse.
The only alternative that I can think of, and I don't have any way of getting us there, would be to go to some place like Vasher Mithril and throw ourselves on whoever's in charge there and hope that they actually give a shit about some random bunch of misfits from Calastia.
Here's what we do. First light, we leave. We head around the Hornsaw. We make our way to the Gleaming Valley.
Why?
Because there's going to be priests of Corian there. It's the nearest place that's safe.
You remember sunset last night? I mean, I don't know that they're going to welcome us showing up and being like, hey, we know something really, really awful just happened to you guys, but by the way, have you met this dog? I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I just feel guilty about it. That's all.
The Hollow Knights have stood against worse.
If we want to do something good for the world, I'd say go right in the middle of the Hornsaw and have that hound run for us and maybe destroy a bunch of the Hornsaw creatures on the way through, and that would be a much better thing for the world.
Yeah, but do we know how close it is? Is it just going to follow us exactly?
Yeah, we don't really know how long it's going to take to track us down.
I mean, I still, again, entirely selfishly vote for Fang's Fall.
Are we sure we're not going to try to use the whip against it?
I don't know if I want that to be our only play. I feel like we take the whip and go to Fang's Fall, and then we got two options at this one place. But
I didn't mean to get you interested in Fang's Fall.
I've wanted to go to Fang's Fall since I figured out what the fuck was going on with myself. I just don't really talk about it, but at this point, I kind of like puff up. I'm like, I really just...
The Titans aren't known for giving a damn about the people that follow them. I hate to say it, but...
Sure, but it might give a damn about something that was taken from him.
Nev gives a damn.
She's sleeping.
Well, believe me, if anyone knows that, I know that. Well, any one of us.
So...
Khaled says, Zopa, this thing is theoretically on your tail.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much theory there is to it, but yeah.
Good call. What do you want to do?
I don't want to send it after your friend. I'm more than happy to lead it across Gelspad.
We got to warn her, because it could be coming after her, too.
I'll handle warning her. I'll handle the situation with the whip. Where do you want to go?
Do you think we should take the whip with us?
I don't know. I'll talk with her about it and figure that part out.
Okay.
She'll know. She knows. If she knows more about that whip than anybody else I know. So.
I mean, Dad, you've kind of got a target on your back, and I'd rather take care of that than deal with other things right now.
I can handle a god.
We couldn't handle a giant hound. I think a god's more powerful than that.
I'm gonna look at Dad, and this is gonna be one of the few times, if ever, that I've stood up to him, and I'm gonna try and intimidate him. I guess I'm just like, you're a fucking idiot.
He nods and says, "Yeah, probably." But
Gix, he used to spank you before you were too tall to reach.
I'm a lot.
He's like 3 feet tall, and I'm 8 feet tall. So
I'm a lot. I might be an idiot, kiddo, but I'm a lot more concerned about your well-being than mine. And if Otasso wants to pull a few bones out of me to keep you safe, so be it. So what I'm saying is,
than a few.
Zopa, you're the one who's got the most skin in this particular game. I think you all should listen to Zopa's play here. I'll support whatever decision the family makes.
Yeah.
She blushes. I think we should at least make an effort to go to or around the Hornsaw to deal with your issue on the way to the Gleaming Valley.
All right. Rest up. I'm going to go have a talk with with Amethyst about this whip.
Okay.
I want to strip the bedding off of my bed.
Is you peed?
I mean, honestly, I probably did. I said, right? Whenever bedding does not have pee, I want to start making like a family like group fort. Because I don't know how realistic that nightmare was, but I'm assuming Cheshire is not like, I'm just going to go back to my bed alone.
Right.
No.
Yeah, like we're all going to like go family.
We're going to make a pillow pile.
Yeah. I want to start that process.
Yeah, fucking cuddle pile. Yeah.
And some of us are furry, and we make other people warm.
Dad, do you want me to go with you?
Yeah, come with me for a minute. And he walks over and he hugs Millie and kisses her on the forehead and says, "It was just a dream, kiddo."
How does he kiss her on the...
Or yeah, I guess...
on my toes, and I know what that means, so I give him my forehead.
Hops up on the bed. There's ways to handle it. It was just a bad dream, kiddo. That's all it was. You got this.
And it's been a long time since we've had a blanket fort, so I point at Cheshire and I'm like, "You saved me a spot."
Can we make the blanket fort over the bearskin rug?
Oh yeah, that was always the plan.
By the fireplace.
He walks up to Jedryn and gives her a hug and whispers in her ears, "Are you okay?"
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I'll make it. I'm good. I'm just trying to plan. I got this.
Listen, I need you to make a promise for me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If that thing shows up, I need you to put an arrow between your sister's eyes.
Yeah.
He walks over to Cheshire. Is you okay, buddy? Pats you on both.
These are the relationships we have with Dad.
Cheshire will look more defeated than usual.
Don't worry, you made a bad play in an imaginary situation.
That's not what I'm worried about, Dad. If that thing comes again, I'll do the same thing.
That didn't work out well.
But I always told you, like I went to the fighter school because if we die, I'm going to be the first to die. But dying did nothing. It didn't stop it at all.
Well, if you got to die for
it didn't even play with my legs for a while. Like, what the hell?
Well, then the lesson that you need to take away from this, son, is if you got to die, die for something.
That's what I'm working on. That and this fort is going to be.
It's a lovely fort. You look great. He walks over to Chris. Is he okay, John?
You're not coming back, are you?
Why do you think that?
Because you just said goodbye to each of us.
I haven't said goodbye to Korggix yet.
Okay, fine, he's last. But come back. Can't do this without you.
I will be back, I promise. Kisses you on the forehead.
Give him a hug. I give him a giant hug.
He gets on his tiptoes and kisses you on the forehead.
I'm shorter, so it doesn't taste
And then he walks over to Korggix and says, "Hey, listen, you did great, and I understand your conflicts here. Okay? Once all this is done and you're clear of all this mess, we will get you to Fang's Fall and we'll get you the answers you need. All right?"
It's not even that. It's not even that. Why? The whole reason I stopped and left and didn't kill everybody when I left was to not just have people endlessly suffer, and people are still just all around me suffering all the time.
Buddy, that don't make you special.
No, but I should be able to do something with it. Why the hell do I have any powers at all? Why the hell am I 8 feet tall? I don't even know what the fuck I am, and I can't even save anybody. Cheshire just got eviscerated, and I could just stand there and watch.
You know what you need to do? Listen to your sisters, let them show you the way. You want to be helpful? Your sisters know how to do some damage.
And I just laugh because I know I'm not going to, like, we're not going to ever agree, but I laugh. I'm like, yes, the sisters that have the flesh-eating rats. I'll listen to them. I pat him on the head.
That's what next time we have to send.
The message is clearly not lost on me, but I'm like at the same time being an ass about it. You know what I mean?
He says, I love you, son. I'm proud of you. And he walks out and says, come on, Zopa.
I follow.
Once it's just the two of you out there, he says, so you got a plan?
She just starts crying.
Hey,
she's
okay.
just sobbing.
It's okay. Hey, come down here. It's okay. It's all right.
Come down here.
She sits. I don't know if I can do this.
You're going to have to. But here's what I need you to do. You trust me?
Very long, pregnant pause. Yes? Question mark?
You go inside, you put up a nice comfy pillow fort with your siblings, you get a good solid night's sleep. No matter what you wake up to in the morning, you make your way west. Do not go into class, dude. Understand me?
I don't like this.
I understand.
Swear it.
I promise.
I'll see you before too long. Keep your siblings alive, okay?
Now, you might be asking the impossible, but I'll do my best.
Good. I got this covered. Turns and walks away.
I'm just going to sit outside for a while. Because if I go back in right now, that will be too obvious.
All right, you sit out, you listen to them.
And I'll have to help set up the fort, so...
Right, avoid the work. You listen to the nice, quiet, peaceful night. Alarmingly peaceful, far too peaceful than you would have expected.
I want to share my suspicions with all my siblings of, like, will Dad come back? But I'm like, will Dad? Worried Dad won't come back.
Guess we'll find out.
When he leaves, he always has a reason. Not usually a good reason, but there's a reason.
Anything else you'd like to do before you complete a long rest?
I will go back in after a while. Because it's chilly out here. There's a blanket fort in there.
I'm just gonna walk up to Cheshire,
move into the blanket
and like poke him where he was ripped in half, like to make sure it's fully attached.
It's all there.
And then just like after I'm done being a goofball, because obviously he's still attached or they're still attached, I'll put my hand on their shoulder and just like, sorry, I couldn't do anything. Next time will be different. And then I go back outside to find a branch to sleep in.
Oh, in that blanket fort. So we don't have to worry about you.
I made Korggix a spot on the blanket fort, even though it never partakes in their blanket forts. There's always a spot, just in case.
You know how uncomfortable these damn beds are?
Yeah.
I'm 8 feet tall. That elf is like 6 foot. There's 2 feet of me hanging off these fucking
Actually,
things.
if you look at the map, the beds are about 15 feet long, so you should...
Yeah, 15 foot long, made out of wood and wool. I just need the ground.
Scratchy. All right.
It's just not comforting.
You get surprisingly restful sleep. You're able to sleep relatively peacefully for the remainder of the evening. You wake the next morning to alarm bells.
Ready.
What did he do this time?
Refresh. What's this?
It's not our problem. We got our mission.
My bow's drawn. I'm ready to fight. I don't.
Yeah.
You draw your weapons.
I'll head outside.
As you head out, you see there's a couple of elves kind of approaching. You there?
Me?
Where did he go?
Damn it. He probably took the fucking whip. Ugh.
Where did who go?
The halfling you were with.
Where did Amethyst go?
Wait, one of you is a halfling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me.
Okay. She's inside.
The old man.
He's not that old. Oh, damn
it. He's like 40. That's like ancient.
I'll yell to check for his stilts.
Somebody looking for a halfling, I say, and basically proceed to use my urban stalker powers to dissemble and confuse them for as many rounds as possible.
Nice.
Sure. They eventually, after a minute or two of banter, they tell you, we found Amethyst in a state of distress this morning. She's apparently been poisoned, though the poison seems to have only made her confused and somewhat easily amused.
I can.
So she's drunk, is what you're saying,
right?
I can fix that.
You gave her the mushroom.
Yeah,
I can't.
Are you sure she didn't want to be that?
We believe.
Did you ask?
We believe that your companion slipped her some Jolka weed essence.
That sounds about right.
And then what did he do?
The artifact is missing, as is one of the dragons you brought with you.
That's one of the That's impressive.
I just turn to Zopa and I go, called it. Said Dad was going to pull this.
There's just like a slight smile on her face.
Yeah. I'd love to be able to help you, but my dad was a stalker back in the day, and honestly, he's taught me most of what I know about tracking and hunting people down and hiding from people. And if you guys can't find him, we're not going to be able to tell you. He's got friends all over this place that we didn't even know about.
Like you guys, for example.
Well, what are we supposed to do now? The artifact is gone. Our leader is in a severe state of distress.
I can go cure the poison if you haven't done that, I think. But...
What were you doing before you had the artifact? That was just like yesterday.
Waiting for the artifact to get here so that we can invade Calastia.
That's what you've been doing the whole time you've been here?
Just waiting.
I mean,
we've been planning.
You can go back to waiting.
Or do what you would do if you didn't have the artifact, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have alternate plans? I mean, look, I don't know that we're going to be able to stay around and help you, but if you want to start revolts and everything, you're going to have to work smaller than this, undermine and sabotage and stuff like that, cutting supply lines.
And it'll probably be easier without Chardon's ear listening in on what you're doing.
Also, maybe instead of asking us what you should do, maybe ask your leader what you should do once she's cured of her poison. Or ask her now just for fun.
One of them does chuckle. You say you can fix?
I think so.
Come with us.
I'm just a simple country halfling, but...
Okay, it doesn't show. Okay, if Lesser Restoration recovers poison, I literally don't know.
You can end
I can do that. I have that prepared.
But you walk in, and she is hogtied and laughing her ass off.
Awesome.
Did Dad do this, or did you do this to her to keep her from...
We found her this way.
Kinky.
Dad.
Is she still clothed? Oh...
Not really.
Let's that and cast Lesser Restoration to see if that fixes the poison.
As you walk over, she says, "A storm rag dragon!"
Okay, before I cast Lesser Restoration, then I go, what about the Storm Rack Dragon?
You had to be there, man. Who are you?
Lesser Restoration. Okay.
Actually, so before you do it, I just kind of lean in and I'm like, are you sure? Maybe we should leave her this way.
No, I'm sure.
At least until we're, out of here.
She's so happy.
Right. She's
also,
not going to be happy.
How is there nobody here that knows how to take care of this?
Yeah, how are none of you at least a third level druid? Come on.
They may not have gone and got the druids yet.
Losing confidence.
You reach over and touch her and restore her, and she immediately goes from like, ha ha ha, to, oh. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to rip his limbs off.
No, we get dibs. I
gotta find him first.
I thought he was going to pull this. He assured me that he wasn't going to pull this, and he pulls this.
I think I know where he's going.
The horn saw?
Oh. Can you untie me, please?
Okay. Anybody got a knife? I can't undo these knots.
Who all came with you? Did you kind of drag all of us, or?
I assume.
Okay,
you came.
I definitely have a knife, so I'm like, shings.
I have a stick.
Starts rubbing her wrists. He is on his way to Calastia.
He said he wanted to go to the Valley of Shiny Things, where the lights came from in the sky.
No, he wanted us to go to the Gleaming Valley and get the hell out of here and hopefully lead the Hound away from all these people and all of this stuff, and hopefully also lead it into trouble as much as we can. And basically get as shed of all of this as we possibly can.
He said something about calling in a favor from Virduk.
So, like, asking Virduk not to send the Hound after us? Did you have the nightmare?
What nightmare?
So, all of us, including Dad, had a nightmare last night that what was it?
Chardon's Obsidian Hound is...
Korak and Chardon tried to...
Chardon's Hound is hunting us. Probably Zopa specifically, and almost certainly because of the damn whip.
And killed, in the vision, killed Cheshire and killed Zopa, and it was awful. And we can't fight it. I don't know who can fight it. A god, maybe. But we can't.
Well, you're all grown, so I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you what I'm going to do, which is I'm going to rally these troops, and I'm going to ride to Calastia and hope, for your father's sake, that Verduck gets his hands on him before I do.
Good luck. We're going to be heading out here soon. Mm-hmm.
But the hound's going to follow us or follow Dad?
Just let me know if you need anything.
I just need your word that you won't permanently injure him.
Oh, no. I'm a relatively young woman. I have centuries left me to inflict agony on that brick.
He's being a self-sacrificing... He's doing it for the best of us, even though we don't want him to.
Zopa nods in agreement with you. Loves him dearly. Also, completely okay with that.
If
we may also
get to him in time,
we may also have to.
Safe.
Go ahead.
If I can get to him in time, I'll bring him safe.
We may also just have to face the facts that if Chardoon is literally against us on this, we're going to have a much longer road to hoe, and taking this head on may not be the way to get it done. And if getting it done is what matters to you, and I know it's what matters to me, then that's what we got to focus on.
Then what do you suggest we do? Sit around here, plot plans some more, try to figure out ways to throw pebbles at the Calastian machine while your father runs in, throws himself at the mercy of King Verduck, and we hope it pans out for the best?
No, I mean, I'd make damn sure that whip doesn't end up anywhere in Verduck's hands, because that's about the worst thing that could happen. But I can't believe that Dad would be doing that. That's just not him.
You don't think he wouldn't give Verduck the whip in order to get the hound off of our butts?
Yeah, I don't think he would.
I think he would. I really think he would.
I think he would.
And for what it's worth, all of those little pebbles.
God damn it.
For what it's worth, all of those little pebbles add up. If it wasn't for those pebbles, Korggix wouldn't be with us. He wouldn't have escaped.
Mm-hmm. The biggest damage you can do to a machine is putting rocks in the gears.
It's a lot easier to take out the machine when it's already broken than to just break it yourself. Let them break it. They'll fuck up eventually.
She punches like a dresser, like a hole through it. It's like, I had him in my hands.
I've heard that's not where all the
I was gonna make a joke of like that's happened before, yes.
She blushes and says, I did not mean your father.
Oh. You meet
She means the whip.
I mean Verduck.
I actually know history.
Yeah.
Did you though? I mean,
crap.
Ultimately everything hinged on this one thing.
That's kind of a crapshoot.
If I had that whip, I could have gotten into the castle and I could have made him do whatever I wanted.
Not if the hound killed you first.
Yeah. There's so many. I mean, how far away are we from that? How many things can go wrong from here to there?
Oh.
And Chardoon was listening.
Only a few hundred miles.
Putting all your eggs in one basket is exactly how I never escape from where I was in the first place. Oh yeah, just this one loose brick is how I'm gonna be able to get out. No, it's not how anything works if you're trying to do literally anything and be successful.
We had a perfect weapon.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than one solution to the problem.
Yeah. And next time I won't let some smooth-talking halfling get it out of my grip.
I suggest next time having more than one plan.
Did he tell you about the guy who betrayed us, the neighbor? Anyway, so what do we do, Zopa?
My armories and stables will outfit you with whatever you need. She says, "Can you all please get out of my chambers so I can?"
Thank you. Sorry, man. I did throw a blanket over her at the beginning.
Yeah. She starts like moaning and groaning as you realize that Julkaweed essence, even if you use magic to end the high, it comes with a hell of a hand.
I don't have quick sober, I'm sorry.
Would that it were so simple.
So what would you like?
Do we need anything? Everyone who's here, do we need anything before we head out?
We got one. Which dragon did he leave? Sled.
He left Fluffy. He took Slaughter.
He took Slaughter? Oh. I thought he was
Fluffy.
Okay. Slaughter was the one I friended. Okay.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yeah. So he left the one that you had been building a bond with.
Yeah, it was Slaughter. So, and he took the one that belonged to Sarsasha.
Yeah.
It was first. Fluffy was Sarsasha's. Okay. So I guess we get the feed my the rats more good berries and put their cages on Slaughter, and we head wherever Zopa thinks we should go.
I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to taking them up on their offer to let us raid their stables and armory.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. So upgrade our
at the very least. I know I could use some weapons or some arrows because shooting arrows into flaming things tends to not get them back for you.
It was that, yeah.
I am a little low.
What kind of gear do they have?
Oh, what kind of gear do you want? So you will be able to access. You each will have a budget of 400 gold pieces worth of mundane equipment, and can access, we'll say, 3 common and 1 uncommon magic items, including tattoos.
Holy
if
crap.
you want them before you go. Also, congratulations, you've all leveled up.
Yeah.
All right. So I've leftover XP from the near-death experience back to back to back for like 3 episodes.
Guess too bad you level up.
Cheshire.
Cool. I'm going to buy myself a shiny new breastplate.
Wonderful.
No idea.
And if you want, you can get that. If you wanted to sack one of your items, I think you could get that oaken so that it doesn't cause any stealth issues for you.
So as we're kind of shopping around.
It's an uncommon, requires attunement. You could get the breastplate as oaken, so you'd pay the gold for it, and then you'd have to attune it. It would use up your uncommon slot, but it's armor that's hard as steel but made of enchanted wood, so a druid can wear it, and it weighs only 10 pounds.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Something you could do if you wanted to. I'm not saying you have to. What were you going to ask me?
I just want to talk with the folk around here and just see what they know about what happened last night with all of the flares going off in the distance, so we can
in the direction we're going to be riding towards.
Right.
They say.
So about the new doom we're riding into.
Right.
Yeah. They actually you work your way kind of through a small network of people, and they eventually get you to a messenger who actually just got in this morning. And when you get to him, he's like, almost looks like emaciated, like imagine how Tony Stark looked at the beginning of Endgame, like that level of like just worn out and just still dripping sweat and shit. And he says, "Yeah, I just came from the Horse Clan village. in the Broadreach Horizon. Things are bad over there. It seems that...
Oh, sorry, your audio just freaked out. What did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, things are bad over there. It seems that some sort of plague has risen in the Hornsow Forest. It's affecting any creature that is made of or incorporated with magical metals, but it specifically is wearing down the Hollow Legionnaires significantly. And
Made of
when we
Hollow Legionnaires are made of magical metals? Crazy!
They include them. When we saw the beacons, one of our number went to investigate and found this. Well, they found the city of Citadel under a horrific siege. Undead everywhere. Fallen legionnaires. I'm told that even 2 of the Hollow Knights fell. No one is quite sure why this is happening, but given the amount of undead monstrosities that were involved, I can only assume that Glibidatel is either responsible or at the very least being opportunistic about it. If it's safe haven you're seeking, I don't think that's a direction.
Never thought I'd say this, but we should go back to our house with the cursed basement and shit.
Life was so much simpler when we just had a cursed basement.
Right?
Just picturing us, all the front door of the house opens, some dust flies up, all of us just march through into the bedroom, pry up the thing in the floor, all march down, the door closes and the credits just roll, and that's the campaign, folks!
I'm just going to stay down here and order DoorDash for the rest of our lives.
Right?
Yep.
Isn't that what we're doing anyway right now? I mean,
right?
Really a fantasy campaign, it would just be life. I don't know about you, but I haven't left the house in months to get the mail. Oh.
So, yeah. What was it?
I was just going to say, so to my siblings, I mean, this is the time to throw at anything. This is where Dad wants us to go. What reason do we have to not go there besides to follow him, which he explicitly said not to do?
Honestly, Dad's
and
taking...
I will say... no, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, after you.
Okay. Dad's taken 2 of our 3 shitstorms off of us. 2 of our, I guess technically 4, although one of them is really kind of a double shitstorm. So I feel like we've gotten many choices, right? We could all split up and go join separate circuses, but I'm not doing that.
No.
We could follow Dad, which he explicitly told us not to do. Or we can try to put distance between us and the Hound. And honestly, running into that hellscape where at least nobody in that particular hellscape is currently looking for us and Calastians are unlikely to follow, I can see the value in that. I mean, to me, there's really 2 choices. Do we do the really stupid thing and go after Dad again? Or do we do the other stupid thing and, run directly into the screaming damnation because we think we can win.
So I would rather not lead the hound into populated areas. So if it is still coming after me, I would rather go that way where there's maybe horrific things going on, but at least it would only hurt horrific things and not.
I kind of like the idea of leading the hound into the middle of the Hornsaw and having it wreak havoc amongst a bunch of horrible beasties.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
If I'm going to die, let's have it be meaningful. Lead the hound right into, what did you say, Glivid something?
Glivid Hotel? Oh,
yeah.
God, let's not, well.
Or where the Mormo people are, and lead it into the snake pit. Like, we get that far, but...
What's that?
Huh?
Let's not die, though.
I prefer not to die, but I'm just saying, if we're screwed anyway, we might as well, create a path of destruction through the bad guys' land, if we're going to do it, right? Although I don't know why Chardin wouldn't have just sent it there and just take out some of those Titan Swarm things. Why am I saying Titan
I do have
Swarm?
a question, Travis.
I have an answer.
So I never unattuned to the whip. Do I feel like it's still there? Like, do I sense it at all, that presence?
No, because it's not a cursed item, so if it leaves your presence and somebody else attunes to it, you no longer hold attunement to it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know so essentially what I was asking is, has someone else attuned to it?
It seems like someone has attuned to it, yes.
Okay. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if we have these nightmares to know if we're free of it.
Yeah.
So when we're raiding their armory, you said we could get one uncommon item?
Yep. 1 uncommon, 2 commons, and 400 gold.
Would they have a cloak of protection in there?
Uncommon, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Everything else is useless for me.
Wait, that's in addition to the 400 gold?
Yeah, it's an
400
addition.
gold worth of mundane items, right?
400 gold worth of mundane items, yes.
And then 2 common and 1 uncommon?
Right.
Or 2?
Common, 1 uncommon. You can also use those uncommons for like potions or scrolls.
And we can get stuff from any Scarred Lands book or the creature or the Dungeon Master Guide.
Yeah, anything from Scarred Lands books, DMGs, Anathars, any third-party stuff if you want to run it by me first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tasha's conceivably, if anyone's picked it up yet.
Yeah. You'll be able to access Tasha's in the group.
But I dreamed last night that I did.
You should be able to access Tasha's in the group D&D Beyond.
You dreamt that you got...
Well, I dreamt that I asked if we could buy it, and I was told absolutely not. And then I made an extremely detailed case for why we should definitely buy it. And I wasn't planning on buying it, but now I am, because I convinced myself in my dream.
You talked yourself into it. So yeah, I'll give you until
That's hysterical.
Until next week to do your shopping.
All right, boss.
So, once again, we find ourselves in a position where Dad's gone away on a hunting trip and he hasn't been back for a couple of days. Is going to become
Oh, too soon, man.
Way too soon. I am still extremely upset. Worst ending of a series since Xena.
The first 2 times they ended that series were very good.
You wearing a Supernatural t-shirt today. Coincidental. Not for laundry pile.
So, that's where we will wrap things up for this week. Questions, comments, complaints, concerns? Congratulations on achieving the next level. Thank you for letting me get a little bit of petty-ass revenge while forwarding the story. Cheshire. If you have not done
those
so,
of you who missed it. Yeah. For those of you who missed it, Chaz TPK'd us the other night and then used our bodies as like fleshy bats to try and like break open something. I don't feel
bad about that part. I just so amazing. A second emulator. That was an oversight. Then I realized like midway, and I was like, oh, I was first supposed to take out this one because it's only 3 of you. But the bad part, I stand by that decision.
Yeah, it was good.
I support the call. It was the best TPK I've ever been a party to. So, we should do our outros. And you can go ahead and level up in the interim if you want to. If you have any questions about leveling up or anything like that, just let me know. Just make sure you get leveled up before our next session. And make sure you have a firm decision on where you want to go. But I'm hearing Hornsaw Forest, right? Is that
Yeah. That's the current idiocy. Yeah.
That is wonderful because the Hornsaw Forest is one of the major settings in Dead Man's Rust, which is now on Kickstarter. And you can, one thing I want to make sure I tell you because I keep forgetting to tell people this. As you back the Kickstarter, there are backer-only updates. Throughout the course of the campaign, we will be revealing the entirety of the manuscript in its current pre-edited format, right? So right now, if you go back right now for $5 and get that access, you will have Chapter 1, the introduction, and an appendix that has every NPC that you would need. You could run a game that starts off your Dead Man's Rust campaign tonight if you go back it, because you get everything you need to know for character creation. There's also speaking of character creation, there's a couple of, I believe this update has a couple of new playable species and a new class or a new subclass or two in it. Let me look before I'm going to look at it while we do our outro. So while I'm looking at it, Jedryn, please give us your pertinence.
Hi, I'm Fran Stewart, pronoun she, her. I'm playing Jedryn, the very grouchy halfling rogue, also she, her. And I write for Scarred Lands, and I actually wrote on Dead Man's Rust, and I'm really excited that you guys are going to finally get to actually see some of this. So that's most of what I have going on right now. You can find me wherever fine ebooks are sold under the name Francis Stewart, and you can find me on Twitter at Ronalyn Valor. As I've always said, I love making new friends, so come up and introduce yourselves.
Sweet, please do. And next up, we have Zopa. Give us your pertinence. And yes, I just verified. We have new playable species in the Wretched, which are playable undead that I think people are going to love quite a lot. I love them. They're amazing. If you squint, you'll be able to tell what each of the sub-races is. Like they are existing undead. They're just taking it from a different angle. So it's very interesting to me to see how they came together. And we also have new subclasses, including the Barbarian Path of the Rage Witch. Casting while raging, absolutely. Yep. I'm a big fan of Overkill. A new favorite terrain for the Ranger. We've got a arcane.
I invented that one.
Tradition animation, which is if you're going to have necromancers, you want to be able to raise a bunch of dead people. So we had to make that, and then the arcane tradition prodigalist, which is one of my favorites. It's all about making an army of familiars and being able to do great things with them. Like at certain levels, you can trigger area effects through your familiar as if it was centered on them. So, sorry, Fluffy, you gotta go, but you're gonna deliver this fireball for me behind enemy lines a mile away. Even tactics like that. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So,
no, it's good sidetracked. I'm Jeremy Hochhalter, he, him playing Zopa, she, her. You can find me on Twitter at WHPubs, here on Twitch at WH Publications, and over on Facebook at WH Publications as well. I did not take part of Dead Man's Rust, but I'm backing it because I'm super excited about it. And I want to point out something because I've seen a lot of comments about it. There's like a long leadway, I guess is the word, for delivery. And Honest Path people have already said that is not necessarily when you're going to get it. You'll probably get it before then, but because of things like COVID, because who planned for COVID? Right? Mm-hmm. They're giving themselves a really good time frame to deliver. So don't be afraid of those dates. Know that you will get it, because Onyx Path always delivers on their goods. Back it now. Do it.
Yes. Next up, we have Triss. Give us your pertinence, please.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stewart. She, they. I play Triss, the Druid. Slitherin, she, her. Probably already all know I worked on Frostlands Fenrirlic. I worked on Vigilant. I didn't technically work on Dead Man's Rust, but they did put the favorite terrain that I wrote. We share a brain. It just happens. The favorite terrain I wrote that went into Serpent Amphora was put in Dead Man's Rust, which is the same favorite terrain that the main character in Vigilant has, which is Titan Scarred.
Yeah, Titan Scarred.
So
really fun thing.
So
thing for rangers around here to be like, I've been in this kind of shitty territory before, and I know everything about its stanky ass. I'll keep you alive. So
if you're in the Blood Rain Woods or the Morning Marshes or the Hornsaw Forest, it's your favorite terrain. But if you're in the Ganges, you're like, what? I don't know. It's just a forest. I don't understand.
Right. There's trees and bugs. I don't get it.
I don't get it. But if you're in the Hornsaw Forest, you're
everything eating everything else?
I get it. And then another thing coming out for Frostlands of Fenrirlic, Fran and I wrote Yenny's Journal. We're hoping to wrap up the very end of. We have one page left to format and get it up on Drive-Thru RPG either later today or tomorrow at the latest.
So it's a good news day for Scarred Lands.
Yeah, so that's up. That'll be up on Drive-Thru as well. So check that out. It's just a little tiny title to go with your Frostlands game. Make it a little bit more richer.
Sweet, yeah, definitely pick that up when it hits for sure. And make sure that you're following at least Fran on social media, because I'm sure she'll share the link. Sarah doesn't post on her Twitter. And speaking of people who don't post on their Twitter, Cheshire,
Facebook.
Why don't you go ahead and give us your pertinence, please?
Hi, so I'm Chaz, he who does not post on Twitter. He, him, also Cheshire's also he, him. Cheshire is the heterochromatic wizard, fighter, sorcerer. Cheshire doesn't really know what Cheshire is. And when I'm not being confused about what I do and casting spells with a sword, I study storytelling and video games and music and how all those interplay to make super fun experiences and what that means.
Sweet. And next up, that brings us to Millie. Millie, give us your pertinence, please.
Hello. I am Ayli, she, her pronouns, and I play Millie, the Tiefling Ranger, she, they pronouns. I also worked on Frostlands of Fenrirlic, so definitely check that out. And I'm a fetish model. You can find me on Twitter at Kitty Curiosity, and I'm also part of an X-rated D&D stream called Roll for Seduction, and you can find us online at rollforseduction.com or on Twitter at rollseduction. And yep, that's me. Oh, and also only check me out if you're over the age of 18. That part's important.
Very important. No little ones. Wait till you're grown. And last but not least, that leads us to Korggix. Please give us your pertinence.
Hi, I'm Tric, or the hair Tric, because Cosmic Horror and puns are hilarious. I play Gix. They're also he, him, and they're an 8-foot-tall Scrag that in reality is just a 1-foot-tall puppy.
Very true.
If you're interested in what a Scrag is, Yugman's Guide to Gelspad 2. Make sure to check that out. I didn't have anything to do with it, but it's cool shit. So, also, everybody else already talked about Frostlands of Fenrirlic. That was the first big thing I ever did besides my Odysseys and Overlords thing for Travis, the Flight of the Kobolds. So if you're interested in Odysseys and Overlords, go check that out, as well as Frostlands of Fenrirlic, and tell me how bad I am at writing things.
It's awesome. I have a adventure that's set in the inn that you co-designed. That's
in Frostlands?
Right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
Death at Jermavica.
Yeah, Jermavica.
On top of all that, I've got a Patreon for D&D writing stuff that I just redid last night. All the tiers are way lower, and there's better tiers. So now there's a 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 35, and 50. The $3 tier is like magic items and monsters and things like that, and previews of those. And there's one for classes and all this other wonderful stuff. So if you're interested in helping me write the book of 12 classes and 12 subclasses and 3 classes and a whole world and new species and all that stuff, make sure to visit that. And again, tell me how bad my writing is.
Definitely throw him some loot, and your writing is not bad, sir. It is delightful. And last but not least, hey, Sinwave, good to see you. I hope the patients are being kind. I'm Travis, he, him. I'm the dungeon master of this shit show, and when I'm not running this one, I have another shit show I run on this channel. First, third, and fifth Wednesday of every month, we play Scarredlands Sins of Shelzar, which is about to be Scarredlands Sins of no longer aptly named because they have been run out of town.
Wow.
Only took them 16 episodes to get run out of like the most lax, hard to get in trouble city. And, but they do frown on you murdering guards. The crew from Sins of Shells are also making their way toward the Hornsaw Forest. Strange. Can't imagine why.
Oh, boy.
Maybe we'll have some crossovers. That'd be fun. I also am tomorrow. I'm super excited about this. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be running Foul Ingredients, which is one of the many side quests in Dead Man's Rust. And my players will be Dixie Cochran, Matthew Dawkins, Eddie Webb, and Jessica Ross, who is one of the authors on Dead Man's Rust, who we now refer to as Mother Manticora, because she was basically the person who's responsible for the way Leone is in the current edition. She did a lot of the development on that. And she wrote the whole, if you go back the Kickstarter for $5, which you should be doing right now at least, the whole section on Leone is all Jessica. And she's amazing, and she's wonderful, and she's going to be playing Manticora, and I'll have a great deal of fun eviscerating her in the Hornsaw Forest tomorrow. So make sure you tune in over there. That'll be over at the Onyx, twitch.tv/the Onyx Path.
Can't wait to see it.
Only other thing I can say is pretty pleased with Sugar on top. Go and back Dead Man's Rust on Kickstarter. Tell your friends to back Dead Man's Rust on Kickstarter. Tell people you don't like to back Dead Man's Rust on Kickstarter. It's fine. And pick up Frostlands of Fenrirlic, because that puts money in the pockets of all these beautiful people that I get the privilege of sharing a couple hours a week with. So other than that, stay in your fucking house, wear a mask, don't go anywhere. Thanksgiving's not that important. I saw on Twitter somebody said the best thing about it: you don't want to have a family Thanksgiving at the cost of an ICU Christmas. Just don't do it. Don't go anywhere. Stay home and read Dead Man's Rust, which you can get the first part of on Kickstarter right now.
Yep. And then you can run it on Astral Tabletop, which is actually very doable.
You can. Absolutely. Thank you all so much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you at home for watching. Love you all. Be safe. Mask up. Wash your hands.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.